Okay, hi everybody. We finally got to the last video in the series of my Kickstarter unboxing of Walking Dead No Sanctuary board game. These are all the stretch goals and maybe a couple of little add-ons that you got with the Kickstarter. So it's a box of miniatures and other goodies. So it's called, these are some standalone scenarios in this where you have player versus player, so you choose one player and you just go all out against each other, I believe. So that is the rules for it. It's just a small little rule sheet. Here are the scenarios. Got a load more scenarios. Fort Benning. So these are all a lot of them are tiles that you've already seen, but we do have some new tiles in this game, or this set, should I say. Here's the next one, which is Fort Benning again. It is different. And we have Made to Suffer is the next one. Again, I wish they'd brought these out in a book. Maybe they'll do a compendium later on, but you never know. This is the player versus player scenario. I gather you just all go into one area and just fight it out. I'm assuming that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. One player again against another. These are special rules for Fort Benning. There's the RV, which you will see in a minute. Quite a few different tiles. Before we do that, there's this little tile, which is the inside of the RV. So here are the tiles. Just open road. Loads of open road. This is the inside of a building. I believe this is is it the governor's house? I think it might be the governor's house. Not 100% sure. Because the governor is in this little box, which you'll see in a little while. Yes, this is the governor's setting. That's the town where he rules. A lot of people are getting fed up with The Walking Dead. They're saying it's going away from what it was. What you've got to remember is, if it was a real life situation, it wouldn't happen. Obviously, you wouldn't get the dead walking the streets. I doubt very much anyway. But if that was a real life situation, the dead themselves would become just a nuisance. It would become the norm. You'd get used to them. And eventually they would all die off anyway, because they'd just rot and they wouldn't be able to move. So you probably wouldn't have to wait around for long for them to all die off. And it would be people against people, because that is the nature of the human, of human beings, is to rule and govern. Somebody wants to be the leader, and they just want to own it all. And you will have factions of people fighting against each other, which is where it's more. We're on series 8 now, and it's where it's gone to. You'll see the walkers there as as an annoyance and maybe a hindrance to them, and they do the odd shock thing where they might catch you off guard and kill one of your members of your group. But essentially, it would just fall down to that, where it is people against people. So, people moaning about where the series is going, I can't see why they're doing that. You can't have it fighting zombies all the time, and it has to change, and that's what they're doing. I quite like it. But anyway, I digress. On to the rest of what's in this box. Well, we've got some new little cards here. They're gold sort of sheen to them, as you can see. And these are special items. Enables you to do a lot more. So this is just something that is extra. If you look on the back, it says weaponry. So you've got different types of weapons. Sophia's doll. I think Sophia the daughter of the governor. that he kept chained up because she was a zombie. I can't remember. It's been a while. You got your round sequence card for reference. Again, we've got a big stack of event cards, so it just adds more to the game. I'm assuming you can add these into the main game as well, providing you use the right miniatures. You have character cards, because we've got some new characters. This Glenn one is where he's in armored gear, so they're just 3 extra cards you can add to his deck. But you've got 4 extra cards. You've got Sasha, so you can now add Sasha to the game. You've got the governor. You can use him as a good guy, I think, if you wish. And the other character is Morgan. Finally we get Morgan. So I'm hoping that they bring out another expansion with Negan and his cronies. These are the player versus player character cards. You get one for all of the sort of main characters, the non-zombie characters, should I say. So these are all the things that they can do. So you've got the whole lot there. Probably quite a little fun thing to do, fighting against each other. And finally for the cards, we have some new zombies. So you've got the Well Walker, and what he can do. You have Michonne's pets. You have Vision of Laurie, which is a ghost. And you have the Crawling Walker. I said you'd see him in this video. So that's it for the cards. All we've got left to look at now is the minis. So we'll start at the bottom. Whatever this one is. It's the Governor. Next to him we have 5, is it? Yeah, 5 of these. You've just seen them in the previous video. The Well Walkers. So obviously it's all bloated up because they've been in the water. Then again we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like 10 of the crawlers. Again, you can, if you've got zombie side, you can use your zombies instead of these. What we got next? We have both of Michonne's pets. I'll just show you one of them because you've already seen them. Michonne's pets again. So I've actually got 6 of these now. Well, 3 pairs. So again, it'd be good practice for painting. Here we have Laurie's ghost that Rick kept seeing. What we got here? Oh, this is Glenn in his riot gear. So you can use this character instead of the previous one. Next up, what's his bloody name? Morgan. That's it. This is Morgan. Again, a bit bent, but you have to expect that because it's really thin plastic. Be careful when I put them back in. Here we have Sasha. Who is no longer in the series. Still waiting for Abraham. Maybe they'll do an Abraham and the other characters from that. And that's it. Before we take a look at the big mini, Here's the character cards. So here's Sasha's character card. Would have been nice if they used the actual photo of the actor instead of just like a drawing representing them. But it does look like the actor, but it is an actual drawing. Very well done. It's the governor. And the governor as a rival, that's his card. We have the would-be residents as rivals. And Glenn and Maggie as also as rivals, because I think they did have to, when they were captured by the governor, they had to do things they didn't want to do to save each other, basically. So if I remember rightly, that's what happened in the show. So that's why they've got them as rivals for this one. So the final miniature to take a look at. We've got some extra little pieces here. You've got wind mirrors, you've got the parasol and the ladder. And they all go on top of the RV. It's unusual to get vehicles, miniatures in games, but they've done it for this one. And again, this could be used in Zombicide, pretty cool. But that's the RV. It'll look really good when that's painted up. Wheels don't turn. Shame. Never mind. But yeah. So there you go. I believe that is everything that came in the Kickstarter for this game. As I say, hopefully, I'm sure they will bring out some more expansions for this. I don't know whether they'll do it as a Kickstarter for season, what they would call season 2, but I think more than likely it will be retail only releases. But we'll have to wait and see. I think a lot of it depends on how popular this game gets. I mean, it got funded quite quickly, and they'll probably wait to see how well it sells in retail before they bring out more. But it's a popular show, so it'll probably prove to be a popular game. I've had a quick look on the game, how it's played. It does look quite fun, actually. And it's different from a lot of the other zombie games that are out there. I mean, it's quite, I suppose you could say it's quite similar to Dead of Winter. But then it's different again as well, and it's different from Zombicide. So it's just a nice sort of, if you're a big fan of zombie games, or if you're a fan of the series in general, I would say it's a pretty no-brainer to get hold of this game, even if you just get the base game. But it is nice to have all the characters from the series in your games, and I'm sure you'll be able to pick them up at retail or on eBay quite easily. Just remember, don't pay extortionate prices on eBay. Always haggle people down, say, would you accept this? Because 9 times out of 10, they will say yes. So there you go. That's it for this series. Next set of videos, I keep saying I'm going to do the Space Crusade playthrough. I will do, but it probably won't happen now until I get a week off of work, which isn't for another 3 or 4 months' time. But I'll put my hand on the heart and say it will come this year. It's only February, so I've got 10 months, just over 10 months to get it done. But there will be a playthrough on that. I don't really do playthroughs on my channel. It's really hard to do one person doing it, because you make so many mistakes and forget so many things that it just gets out of hand. And you get people commenting, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. Yes, I probably didn't, because it's hard to concentrate on doing 4 or 5 things at the same time, holding the camera, talking, playing, concentrating on, if you've got 3 or 4 characters in the game, you've got to concentrate on each one of those, and you do make mistakes, which is why I don't try and do too many playthroughs. I mean, I've done a few Zombicide videos. If you're a long-term subscriber to my channel, you would have seen those earlier. And I did make quite a few mistakes. I did realise I'd made the mistakes after I'd posted the video, but by then it's too late, and of course people started putting comments on, you should have done this, you should have done that. So I try and avoid playthroughs. I let other people do them now. I'd rather just concentrate on unboxings, trying to show you the miniatures as best as I can, because there's a lot of people out there, when they do unboxings, they just quickly flick through the miniatures, or they don't show you all of them. I don't show all the cards, because I feel a majority of people aren't really bothered what's on the cards as much. They more like to see how the game looks when you take it out of the box, and the miniatures are a huge part of that. For me, they are as well. If I get a game that is really fun to play but the miniatures are awful, I'll still buy the game and I will substitute those miniatures for better ones, which is probably what I might do for this one, because the zombies on this one aren't too good. They're not bad for what it is, but for these guys especially, they're okay. But I can use fatties from Zombicide to represent these guys, and the walkers, they're easily enough to change for the zombies from Zombicide. Same as the crawlers, you've got those in Zombicide as well. The only ones you might really want to keep are the riot zombies and the armored zombies, and possibly obviously Michon's pets. There are some similar characters or design of characters in Zombicide that look similar to the main heroes in this game. I'll give you an example. Rick, for example. There's a character in Zombicide that is based on Rick, that's a better sculpt than the Rick in this box, so you can substitute that one for him. You wouldn't even notice. He doesn't have the cowboy hat on in Zombicide, but you don't need it. You can still see it looks like Rick. And there's a few other characters that are very similar, so you can swap them about. But I love this show. It's one of my favourite shows, Walking Dead. If you haven't seen it, I'm sorry if I've given you a few little spoilers throughout these video series, but if you haven't seen The Walking Dead, I would suggest, highly recommend getting the box sets and watching them, because it is a good show. It's well done. It's gory. It can sort of drag a little bit in places, but it's just fun seeing what happens to the characters, and you never know who is going to survive and who isn't, because you get a really popular character, and then in the next episode, that character just gets killed, and you think, Jesus, did that really happen? But yeah, it's well worth watching. A lot of people are slating it lately. I don't. I still think it's a great show. So anyway, that's enough of me waffling on. You don't want to hear all that. So the next set of videos I'm going to be doing, I'm not sure, could be the Zombicide Black Plague Green Horde box. I've got the base game for that. All the Kickstarter exclusives are going to be sent to me later on this year. They're sending them in 2 waves. So I'll probably do that one next to get that out of the way. And then I've got quite a few other board games that I've got that I haven't shown you yet. So stay tuned. As always, thanks for watching, and see you guys on the next video.